They were supposed to be untouchable. The fairy tale that proved true love still exists in Hollywood. Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker, better known as Kravis, weren't just a couple. They were a spectacle, a brand, a carefully crafted narrative of redemption and romance. But what happens when the cameras stop rolling? When the Instagram filters can't hide the truth anymore? Tonight, we're peeling back the curtain on Hollywood's most talked about romance. And trust me, what we found isn't pretty. A beachside proposal with hundreds of roses, an Italian wedding that broke the internet, a pregnancy announcement so perfectly choreographed it went viral in seconds. For 3 years, Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker have dominated headlines, set relationship standards, and convinced millions that soulmates really do exist. But behind every perfect Instagram post lies an imperfect reality. Behind every scripted reality show moment, there are unscripted truths. And behind every fairy tale romance in Hollywood, there are secrets that could shatter everything. So buckle up, because the story of Kravis isn't just a love story, it's a cautionary tale about fame, family, and the price of living your life in public. Let's go back to where it all began. February 2021. The world was still recovering from a global pandemic, and Kourtney Kardashian was recovering from something else entirely: a decade-long toxic relationship with Scott Disick. Scott was charming, sure, but he was also unpredictable. Addiction issues, infidelity rumors, a pattern of behavior that left Kourtney emotionally exhausted and their 3 children caught in the crossfire. Enter Travis Barker, the heavily tattooed Blink-182 drummer who had literally survived a plane crash in 2008 that killed 4 people and left him with third-degree burns over 65% of his body. A man who had stared death in the face and lived to tell about it. But Travis wasn't just a survivor. He was a rock star with his own complicated history. Multiple marriages, custody battles, a well-documented struggle with addiction that he'd fought tooth and nail to overcome. When they went public in February 2021, it wasn't subtle. Travis posting a photo of Kourtney's hand. Kourtney sharing intimate moments from their date nights. The PDA wasn't just passionate, it was performative. And fans ate it up. Because this wasn't just another Kardashian relationship. Travis wasn't a businessman looking for clout or an athlete seeking fame. He was already successful, already established. He didn't need the Kardashian machine, or so it seemed. For Kourtney, who had spent years being criticized for being boring compared to her sisters, Travis represented something she'd never had before. A partner who made her feel like the main character in her own story. They weren't hiding their love, they were celebrating it. Every red carpet became a runway for their romance. Every Instagram post became a declaration. Every public appearance became performance art. And the world was watching, mesmerized by what seemed like the most genuine love story to come out of reality TV in years. October 17th, 2021, Montecito, California, a beach that would become the backdrop for one of the most elaborate proposals in celebrity history. Picture this: 10,000 red roses and white orchids arranged in a perfect heart shape on the sand, candles flickering in the ocean breeze, a photographer conveniently positioned to capture every angle. Travis drops to one knee. Kourtney says yes. The internet explodes. Within hours, the proposal video has millions of views. #Kravis is trending worldwide. Even celebrities are commenting, calling it relationship goals. But here's what most people didn't know. This wasn't just a romantic gesture. It was a business move. The exclusive photos would reportedly sell for over $100,000. The engagement ring, a 12-carat oval diamond, was worth more than most people's houses. And the timing? Suspiciously perfect. Just weeks before the premiere of The Kardashians on Hulu, a new show that needed a compelling storyline to hook viewers. Don't get me wrong, the emotion looked real. Kourtney's tears seemed genuine. Travis's nervousness appeared authentic. But in the Kardashian world, nothing is ever just personal. Everything is content. The proposal wasn't just the beginning of their engagement, it was the launch of the Kravis brand, and business was about to boom. May 2022, Portofino, Italy, the Dolce & Gabbana fashion empire, and a wedding that would cost more than most people make in a lifetime. This wasn't just a wedding, it was a brand collaboration disguised as romance. Dolce & Gabbana didn't just dress the couple, they sponsored the entire event. The guest list read like a who's who of Hollywood and rock music. Machine Gun Kelly, Megan Fox, the entire Kardashian clan. Each outfit change documented, cataloged, and monetized. The exclusive wedding photos would reportedly earn the couple over $2 million. But even in paradise, cracks were beginning to show. Travis's ex-wife, Shanna Moakler, was notably absent, not because she wasn't invited, but because she was publicly feuding with the couple on social media. His children from his previous marriage seemed uncomfortable with the media attention, and Kourtney's own kids appeared overwhelmed by the spectacle surrounding their mother's big day. The wedding was beautiful, sure, but it was also the moment when Kravis stopped feeling like a couple and started feeling like a corporation. But every Hollywood love story comes with skeletons in the closet. And Travis's past wasn't just baggage, it was a ticking time bomb. In his 2015 memoir, Can I Say?, Travis had made a confession that would later haunt his marriage to Kourtney. He openly admitted to having a crush on Kim Kardashian, Kourtney's younger sister. At first, fans dismissed it as ancient history, a harmless celebrity crush from before he even knew the family personally. But then his ex-wife Shanna Moakler stepped forward with a very different story. It wasn't just a crush, he was obsessed with Kim. He would watch her shows, follow her every move on social media. It became a problem in our marriage. Travis denied any affair, but he never denied the attraction. And for Kourtney, who had spent her entire adult life competing with Kim's shadow, this revelation cut deep. The Kardashian sisters' rivalry isn't just tabloid fodder, it's documented reality. Years of competing for their mother's attention, business ventures that turned into battlegrounds, physical fights that played out on national television. And now, suddenly, Kourtney's husband was just another man who had fantasized about Kim first. The question wasn't whether Travis loved Kourtney, it was whether he loved her for herself, or because she was the closest he could get to the sister he'd always wanted. And that question would poison every family gathering, every public appearance, and every private moment between them from that day forward. The Travis revelation didn't just create problems between him and Kourtney, it reignited a war between the sisters that had been brewing for decades. On the surface, Kim and Kourtney maintained their public personas, supportive sisters, happy family, but behind the scenes, old wounds were being ripped wide open. On their new reality show, the tension was impossible to hide. Kourtney accused Kim of using her Italian wedding as a networking opportunity for business deals. Kim accused Kourtney of being bitter and jealous. And then came the Halloween incident that broke the internet for all the wrong reasons. October 2022. Kourtney dressed up as Kim for Halloween, complete with the famous Paper magazine cover pose that broke the internet. But Kourtney added her own twist. A fake pregnant belly, referencing Kim's pregnancy struggles. Was it playful sisterly banter, or a calculated dig at Kim's fertility journey? The internet was divided, but the message was clear. The gloves were off. Family dinners became minefields. Business meetings turned into therapy sessions. And through it all, Travis was stuck in the middle, a husband trying to protect his wife, but also a reminder of the betrayal that started it all. The Kardashian family's greatest strength had always been their unity. But Kravis was threatening to tear apart the very foundation of their empire. While the sister drama played out in public, fans began noticing something else. Travis's pattern of behavior that had remained unchanged despite his claims of growth. Let's talk about the track record. 3 marriages before Kourtney, multiple high-profile relationships, a well-documented history of infidelity that he'd openly discussed in interviews. In his memoir, Travis admitted to cheating on his second wife with multiple women. He'd been open about his sex addiction, his need for constant stimulation, his inability to settle down, and the signs were there if you knew where to look. By early 2023, fans noticed they were spending less time together. Travis was touring with Blink 182 more frequently. Kourtney was noticeably absent from many of his concerts, unusual for a couple that had built their brand on public displays of affection. Valentine's Day, 2023. They spent it in different cities. Their explanation? Busy schedules and work commitments. But for newlyweds who had previously been inseparable, it felt like the beginning of the end. Remember when they couldn't keep their hands off each other? Now they can barely stay in the same city. The most telling sign? They weren't even living together full-time. Despite being married, they maintained separate primary residences. Kourtney kept her Calabasas mansion. Travis stayed in his Calabasas home just miles away. Their excuse? It was easier for the kids. But skeptics wondered, when you're truly in love, do you choose convenience over intimacy? June 2023, a Blink 182 concert in Los Angeles. Kourtney holds up a sign that reads, "Travis, I'm pregnant." The crowd erupts. Social media explodes. The pregnancy reveal, inspired by a classic Blink 182 music video, becomes the most watched moment in the band's recent history. For a moment, it felt like old times. The couple that had conquered the internet was back. The pregnancy was going to be their salvation proof that their love was real, lasting, and worth all the drama. But pregnancy doesn't fix relationship problems, it magnifies them. Travis's touring schedule became more demanding, not less. Blink 182 was experiencing a renaissance, and he wasn't about to slow down. Kourtney, meanwhile, was dealing with a high-risk pregnancy that required bed rest and constant medical supervision. The couple that had built their relationship on shared experiences suddenly found themselves living parallel lives. Travis on stage night after night, Kourtney at home, alone with her fears and her growing belly. November 1st, 2023, Rocky 13. Barker was born. To the outside world, it was a moment of pure joy. The family photos were perfect. The social media posts were heartwarming, but sources close to the couple painted a different picture. The adjustment wasn't smooth. Travis's touring schedule meant he was missing crucial bonding time. Kourtney's recovery was complicated by postpartum depression and the stress of managing a blended family in the public eye. Instead of bringing them together, baby Rocky seemed to highlight just how far apart they'd already grown. By 2024, the fairy tale was officially over. Oh, they were still married, still posting occasionally on social media, still maintaining the illusion for their fans and their business deals. But if you knew what to look for, the signs were everywhere. Separate vacations, fewer couple photos, social media posts that focused on individual achievements rather than shared moments. The shift in their online presence is dramatic. Early Kravis was all about us. Current Kravis is all about me. The rumors started small, whispers from Hollywood insiders, blind items in gossip columns, but they grew louder and more specific. Allegations of control issues, reports of explosive arguments, claims that Kourtney felt trapped in a marriage that had become more performance than partnership. Watch their recent public appearances. There's no natural physical connection anymore. Everything looks forced, choreographed. The most damaging rumor of all? That Kourtney regretted the marriage entirely. And then there were the family dynamics. Kim and Kourtney's relationship remained strained. The kids from both families seemed increasingly uncomfortable with the media attention. Family gatherings became exercises in damage control rather than genuine celebrations. The Kardashian machine, built on the illusion of family unity, was starting to crack under the pressure of Kourtney's failing marriage. So here we are, nearly 4 years after that first Instagram post that launched 1,000 ships. The couple that once embodied Hollywood romance now stands at a crossroads that looks more like a dead end. Are they strong enough to overcome the gossip, the family drama, and their own fundamental incompatibilities? Or are we witnessing the slow-motion collapse of another celebrity relationship built more on image than substance? The truth is, Kourtney and Travis may have been doomed from the start, not because they didn't love each other, but because they fell in love with the idea of each other rather than the reality. Travis saw Kourtney as his redemption story, the good woman who would finally help him settle down. Kourtney saw Travis as her liberation, the bad boy who would help her break free from her family's expectations. But people don't change just because they fall in love. And relationships built on the desire to fix or be fixed rarely survive the harsh light of everyday reality. In the end, Kravis wasn't a love story. It was a business venture, a brand collaboration, a mutual rehabilitation project that worked great for social media, but couldn't survive the real world. The cameras are still rolling, the Instagram posts are still coming, but the fairy tale? That ended long ago. Because in Hollywood, nothing stays hidden forever, and the truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how many roses you use to try to bury it. What do you think? Is Kravis built to survive, or is this just another Kardashian romance destined for heartbreak? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into Hollywood's messiest relationships, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because trust me, when it comes to celebrity drama, the story never ends.